Okay, today, for the second time, I'm going to try to read you Chapter 1 of The Fault in Our Stars. Okay. As the tide washed in, the Dutch tulip man faced the ocean. Conjoiner, rejoinder, poisoner, concealer, revelator. Look at it, he said, rising up and rising down, taking everything with it. What's that? Anna asked. Water, the Dutchman said. Well, end time. Peter Van Houten, an imperial affliction. Author's note. This is not so much an author's note as an author's reminder as what is printed in small type at a few pages ago. This book's a work of fiction. I made it up. Neither novels nor their readers benefit from attempts to divine whether any facts hide inside a story, such as efforts to attack the very idea of made-up stories can matter, which is sort of the foundation assumption of our species. Chapter 1. Late in the winter of my 17th year, my mother decided I was depressed, presumably because I rarely left the house, spent quite a lot of time in bed, read the same book over and over, ate infrequently, and spent quite a amount of my abundant free time to thinking about death. Whenever you read a cancer booklet or website or whatever, they always list depression among the side effects of cancer. But in fact, depression is not a side effect of cancer. Depression is a side effect of dying. Cancer is also a side effect of dying. Almost everything is really. But my mom believed I required treatment, so she took me to see my regular Dr. Jim, who agreed that I was veritably swimming in a paralyzing and totally clinical depression, and therefore my meds should be adjusted and I should also attend a weekly support group. This support group featured a rotating cast of characters in various states of tumor-driven unwellness. Why did the cast rotate? A side effect of dying. The support group, of course, was depressing as hell. It met every Wednesday in the basement of a stone-wall Episcopal church shaped like a cross. We sat in a circle right in the middle of the cross, where the two bullets would have met, where the heart of Jesus literally would have been. I noticed this because Patrick, the support group leader and only person over 18 in the room, mentioned it every freaking meeting. All about how we, young cancer survivors, were sitting right in Christ's very sacred heart or whatever. So here's how it went in God's heart. The 6 or 7 or 10 of us walked or wheeled in, grazed at a decrepit selection of cookies and lemonade, sat down in a circle of trust, and listened to Patrick recount for the 10,000th time his depressing, miserable life story. How he had cancer in his balls, and they thought he was going to die, but he didn't die. And now here he is, a full-grown adult, in a church basement, in a 137th nicest city in America, divorced, mostly friendless, eking out a meager living by explaining his cancer-tastic past, slowly working his way towards a master's degree that will not improve his career prospects, waiting, as we all do, for the sword of Damocles to give him the relief that he experienced all those many years ago, when cancer took both his nuts, despaired that only the most generous soul would call his life. And you too might be so lucky. Then we introduce ourselves. Name, age, diagnosis, and how we're doing today. I'm Hazel, I said when they'd get to me. 16, thyroid originally, but with an impressive and long-settled colony in my lungs. And I'm doing okay. By the way, I should Once we got around the circle, Patrick asked if anyone wanted to share, and then began the circle jerk of support. Everyone talking about fighting and battling and winning and shrinking. To be fair to Patrick, he let us talk about dying, too. But most of them weren't dying. Most of them would live into adulthood, as Patrick had, which meant there was quite a lot of competitiveness about it, with everyone wanting to beat not only cancer itself, but also the other people in the room. Like, I realize it's irrational. So say you have 20% chance of living 5 years. The math kicks in and you figure, well, that's 1 in 5. So you look around and you think, any healthy person would, I gotta outlast 4 of these bastards. The only redeeming fact was this kid named Isaac. A long-faced, skinny guy with straight blonde hair swept over one eye. And his eyes were the problem. He had fantastically improbable eye cancer. One eye had been cut out when he was a kid, and now he wore the kind of thick glasses that made his eyes, both the real one and the fake one, preternaturally huge. Like, his whole head was basically just like his fake eye and his real eye staring at you. From what I could gather on the rare occasions when he shared, a reoccurrence had placed his remaining eye in mortal peril. Isaac and I communicated almost exclusively through signs. Each time someone discussed an anti-cancer diet or snorting up ground-up shark fin or whatever, he'd glance over at me and sigh ever so slightly. I shake my head microscopically and exhale in response. So, support group blew, and after a few weeks, I grew to be rather kicking and screaming about the whole affair. In fact, on the Wednesday I made the acquaintance of Augustus Waters, I tried my level best to get out of support group. While sitting on the couch with my mom in the third leg of a 12-hour marathon of the previous season's America's Next Top Model, which admittedly I already seen, but still. I refused to attend support group. One of the symptoms of depression is disinterest in activities. Please just let me watch America's Next Top Model. It's an activity. Television is a passivity. Ugh, Mom, please. Hazel, you're a teenager, not a little kid anymore. You need to make friends, get out of the house, and live your life. If you want me to be a teenager, don't send me a support group. Buy me a fake ID so I can go to clubs, drink vodka, and take pot. You don't take pot, for starters. See? That's the kind of thing I'd know if you got me a fake ID. You're going to support group, Hazel. Hazel, you deserve a life. That shut me up. Although I failed to see how attendance at support group meant the definition of life. Still, I agreed to go. After negotiating the right to record the 1.5 episodes of AMT I might be missing. I went to support group for the same reason I used to allow nurses with a mere 18 months of a graduate's education to poison me with exotically named chemicals. I wanted to make my parents happy. There's only one thing in this world shittier than biting it from cancer. When you're a kid. It's having a kid who bites it from cancer. Mom pulled into the circular driveway behind the church at 4:56. I pretended to fiddle with my oxygen tank for a second just to kill time. Do you want me to carry it in for you? No, it's fine, I said. The cylindrical tank only weighed a few pounds. I had this little steel cart to wheel it around with me. It delivered 2 liters of oxygen to me per minute through a cannula. A transparent tube that split just beneath the neck, wrapped behind my ears, then reunited in my nostrils. The contraption was necessary because my lungs sucked at being lungs. I love you, she says. I got out. Love you too, Mom. See you at 6. Make friends, she said through the roll-down window as I walked away. I didn't want to take the elevator because taking the elevator was kind of a last day's activity at support group. So I took the stairs. I grabbed a cookie and poured some lemonade into a Dixie cup and turned around. A boy was staring at me. I was quite sure I'd never seen this boy before. Long and leanly muscular, he dwarfed the molded plastic elementary school chair he was sitting in. Mahogany hair, straight and short. He looked like my age, maybe a year older. He sat with his tailbone against the edge of the chair, his posture aggressively poor. He had one hand in a pocket, half pocket of dark jeans. I looked away, suddenly conscious about my myriad of infancy. I was wearing old jeans, which had once been tight but now sagged in weird places. A yellow t-shirt advertising a band I didn't even like anymore. Also, my hair. I had this page boy haircut, and I didn't even bother to, brush it. Furthermore, I had ridiculously fat chipmunk cheeks, a side effect of treatment. I looked like a normally proportioned person with a balloon for a head. This was not even to mention the Cankle situation. And yet, I caught a glance to him. His eyes were still on me. It occurred to me why they called it eye contact. I walked into the circle, sat next to Isaac, 2 seats away from the boy. I glanced again. He was still watching. Look, let me just say, he was hot. A non-hot boy stares at you, and at best, it's awkward, and at worst, a form of assault. But a hot boy, well. I pulled out my phone and clicked it so it would display the time. 4:59. The circle filled with the unlucky 12 to 18s, and then Patrick started us out with a serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The guy was still staring at me. Felt rather blushy. He shrugged. Patrick continued, and finally it was time for the introductions. Isaac, perhaps you'd like to go first today. I know you're facing a challenging time. Yeah, as I said. I'm Isaac, 17, and it's looking like I have to get surgery in a couple of weeks, which after I will be blind. Not to complain or anything, because I know a lot of us have it worse, but yeah. I mean, being blind does sort of suck. My girlfriend helps, though, and friends like Augustus. He nodded towards the boy who now had a name. So yeah, as it continued, he was looking at his hands, which he'd folded like each other at the top of a teepee. There's nothing you can do about it. We're here for you, Isaac, Patrick said. Let Isaac hear it. And we all, and a monotone said, we're here for you, Isaac. Michael was next. He was 12. He had leukemia. He had always had leukemia. And he was okay. Or so he said. He'd taken the elevator. Lydia was 16, and pretty enough to be the object of a hot boy's eye. She was a regular and a long-term remission from appendiceal cancer, which I had not previously known existed. She said as she had every other time I had attended support group, she felt strong, which felt like bragging to me, as the oxygen drizzling nubs tickled my nostrils. There were 5 others before they got to him. He smiled. And when his turn came, he smiled. His voice was low, smoky, and dead sexy. My name is Augustus Waters, he said. I'm 17, and I had a little touch of osteosarcoma a year and a half ago, but I'm just here today at Isaac's request. And how are you feeling? Patrick asked. Oh, I'm grand, Augustus Waters smiled with the corner of his mouth. I'm on a roller coaster that only goes up, my friend. When it was my turn, I said, my name is Hazel. I'm 16. Thyroid with mets in my lungs. I'm okay. The hours proceeded apace. Fights were recounted, battles won, and amid wars sure to be lost. Hopeless clung to families were both celebrated and denounced. It was agreed that friends just didn't get it. Tears were shed, comfort for proffered. Neither Augustus Waters nor I spoke again until Patrick said, Augustus, perhaps you'd like to share your fears with the group. My fears? Yes. Oblivion, he said without a moment's pause. I feel like the proverbial blind man who's afraid of the dark. Too soon, Isaac said, cracking a smile. Was that insensitive? Augustus said. I can be pretty blind to other people's feelings. Isaac was laughing, but Patrick raised a chasing finger and said, Augustus, please. Folks, let's return to you and your struggles. You said you fear oblivion? I did. Patrick seemed lost. Would anyone like to speak to that? I haven't been in proper school in 3 years. My parents were my two best friends. My third best friend was an author who did not know I existed. I was a fairly shy person, not the hand-raising type. And yet, just this once, I decided to speak. I half raised my hand, and Patrick, his delight evident, immediately said, Hazel! I was sure he was soon opening up, becoming part of the group. I looked over at Augustus Waters, who looked back at me. You could almost see through his eyes, they were so blue. There will come a time, I said, when all of us are dead. All of us. There will come a time when no human beings remain to remember that anyone ever existed or our species ever did anything. There will be no one left to remember Aristotle or Cleopatra, let alone you. Everything we built and did and thought and wrote will be and discovered will be forgotten. And all of this, gestured encompassingly, will have been for naught. Maybe that time is coming soon, and maybe it's millions of years away. But even if we survive the collapse of our sun, we will not survive forever. There was a time before organisms experienced consciousness, and there will be a time after. And that if the inability of human oblivion worries you, I encourage you to ignore it. God knows that's what everybody else does. I learned this from my aforementioned third best friend, Peter Van Houten, the reclusive author of a novel, An Imperial Affliction. That book was the closest thing I've ever had to a Bible. Peter Van Houten was the only person I'd ever come across who seemed to A. understand what it's like to be dying, and B. not had died. After I finished, there was quite a long period of silence. I watched a smile spread all the way across Augustus Waters' face. Not the little crooked smile of a boy trying to be sexy while he stared at me, but a real smile, too big for his face. God damn, Augustus said quietly. Aren't you something else? Neither of us said anything for the rest of the support group. At the end, we all held hands and Patrick led us in a prayer. Lord Jesus Christ, we are gathered here today in your heart, literally in your heart, as cancer survivors. You and you alone know us as we know ourselves. Guide us to the light through our trials. We pray for Isaac's eyes, for Michael and Jamie's blood, for Augustus' bones, for Hazel's lungs, for James's throat. We pray that you might heal us and we might feel your love, your peace, which passes us through all understanding. And we remember in our hearts those whom we knew had gone home to you. Maria and Cade and Joseph and Haley and Abigail and Angelina and Taylor and Gabriel, and it was a long list. The world contains a lot of dead people. And while Patrick droned on reading the list from a sheet of paper, because it was way too long to memorize, I kept my eyes closed, trying to think prayerfully, but mostly imagining the day when my name would find its way into that list. All the way at the end, when everybody had stopped listening. When Patrick was finished, we said the stupid mantra together. Living our best lives today. and it was over. Augustus Waters pushed himself out of the chair and walked over to me. His gait was crooked like his smile. He towered over me, but he kept his distance so I wouldn't have to crane my neck to look him in the eye. "What's your name?" he said. "Hazel." "No, your full name." Hazel Grace Lancaster." He was just about to say something else when Isaac walked up. "Hold on," said, raising a finger, and turned to Isaac. "That was actually worse than you made it out to be. I told you it was bleak. Why do you bother with it?" "I don't know. It kinda helps." Augustus leaned in so I thought I could hear. "She a regular?" I couldn't hear Isaac's contact, but Augustus responded. "I'll say." He clasped Isaac by both shoulders and then took a half step away from him. "Tell Hazel about clinic." Isaac leaned a hand against the snack table and focused his huge eye on me. "Okay." So I went to clinic this morning, and I was telling my surgeon I'd rather be deaf than blind. He said, "Well, it doesn't work that way." And I was like, yeah, I realize it doesn't work that way. I'm just saying I'd rather be deaf than blind if I have a choice, which I realize I don't have. And he said, "Well, the good news is you won't be deaf." I'm like, "Thank you for explaining my eye cancer isn't gonna make me deaf. I feel so fortunate that an intellectual giant like you yourself would deign to operate on me." "He sounds like a winner," I said. "I'm gonna try to give me some eye cancers just so I can make this guy's acquaintance." "Good luck with that," Isaac said. "Alright, I should go. Monica's waiting for me." "Counter surgeons tomorrow?" Augusta said. "Definitely." Isaac turned and ran up the stairs, taking him till that time. Augustus turned to me. "Literally," he said. "Literally?" I asked. "We are literally in the heart of Jesus," he said. "I thought we were in a church basement." "But we are literally in the heart of Jesus." "Someone should tell Jesus," I said. "I mean, it's gotta be dangerous storing children with cancer in your heart." "I would tell him myself," Augusta said. "But unfortunately, I am literally stuck inside of his heart, so he won't be able to hear me." I laughed. He shook his head, just looking at me. "What?" I asked. "Nothing," he said. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Augustus half smiled. "Because you're beautiful. I enjoy looking at beautiful people, and I decided a while ago not to deny myself the simpler pleasures of existence." A brief, awkward silence ensued. Augustus plowed through. "I mean, particularly given that you so deliciously pointed out all this will end in oblivion and everything." I kind of scoffed or sighed or exhaled in a way that was vaguely coffee, and said, "I'm not. You're like a millennial Natalie Portman, like the For Vendetta Natalie Portman." "Never seen it," I said. "Really?" he asked. "Pixie-haired, gorgeous girl, dislikes authority, and can't help but fall for a boy she knows is trouble. It's your autobiography, so far as I can tell." His every syllable flirted, honestly. He kinda turned me on. I didn't know guys could even turn me on. Like, not in real life. A younger girl walked past us. "How's it going, Elisa?" he asked, and smiled and murmured, "Hi, Augustus." "Memorial people," he explained. Memorial was a big research hospital. "Where do you go?" "Children's," I said, my voice smaller than I expected it to be. He nodded. The conversation seemed over. "Well?" I said. I nodded vaguely towards the stairs that led us out of his literal heart of Jesus. I tilted my cart on its wheels and started walking. He leaned beside me. "So, see you next time, maybe?" I asked. "You should see it," he said. "Well, V for Vendetta, I mean." "Okay, I'll look it up." "No, with me. At my house," he said. "Now." I stopped walking. "I hardly know you, Augustus Waters. You could be an axe murderer." He nodded. "True enough, Hazel Grace. True enough." He walked past me, his shoulders filling out his spring-knit polo shirt. Walked steadily and confident on what I determined was a prosthetic leg. Osteosarcoma sometimes takes a limb to check you out. Then, if it likes you, it takes the rest. I followed him upstairs. Stairs not being a field of expertise in my lungs. Then we were out of Jesus' heart, and in the parking lot. The spring air just on the cold side of perfect. The late afternoon light heavenly in its hurtfulness. Mom wasn't there yet, which was unusual because Mom was almost there, always waiting for me. I glanced around and saw a tall, curvy brunette girl had Isaac pinned against the stone wall of the church, kissing him rather aggressively. They were close enough that I could hear the sounds of their mouths together. I could hear him saying, "Always," they were saying, "Always." Suddenly, standing next to me, Augustus half whispered, "They're big believers in PDA." What's with the always? The slurping sounds intensified. Always is their thing. They'll always love each other and whatever. I would conservatively estimate that they have texted each other with the word always 4 million times in the last year. A couple more cars scroll up, taking Michael and Elisa home. It was just Augustus and me now, watching Isaac and Monica proceed at a pace as they were not waiting us like the first trip. His hand reached for her boob over her shirt and pawed at it. His palm still wet, his fingers moved around. I wonder if that felt good. Didn't seem like it would, but I decided to forgive Isaac on the grounds that he was going blind. The senses must feast while they're yet hungry and whatever. Imagine taking that last drive to the hospital, I said quietly. The last time you'll ever drive a car. Without looking over at me, Augustus said, "You're killing my vibe here, Hazel Grace. I'm trying to observe young love in its many splendored awkwardness." "I think he's hurting his boob," I said. "I think he's hurting her boob." "Yes, it's difficult to ascertain whether he is trying to rouse her or perform a breast exam." Then Augustus Waters reached into a pocket and pulled out, of all things, a pack of cigarettes. "Are you serious?" I asked. "You think that's cool?" "Oh, my God, you just ruined the whole thing." "Which whole thing?" he asked, turning to me. The cigarette dangled from his unlit and unsmiling corner of his mouth. "The whole thing where a boy is not unattractive, or unintelligent, or seemingly in any way unacceptable, stares at me and points out incorrect uses of literality, and compares me to actresses, and asks me to watch a movie at his house. But of course there's always a Marcia, and yours is, oh my God, even though you had freaking cancer, you're willing to give company to a change to acquire yet more cancer. Oh my God, let me just assure you that not being able to breathe sucks. Totally disappointing. Totally." "How, Marcia?" he asked. The cigarette still in his mouth, tightened his jaw. He had a hell of a jawline, unfortunately. "A fatal flaw," I explained, turning away from him. I stepped toward the curb, leaving Augustus Waters behind. Then I heard a car start down the street. It was Mom. She'd been waiting for me to, make friends or whatever. I felt this weird mix of disappointment and anger welling up inside me. I don't really know what the feeling was, really, but there was just a lot of it. And I wanted to smack Augustus Waters and also replace my lungs with lungs that didn't suck at being lungs. I was standing with my Chuck Taylors at the very edge of the curb, oxygen tank, ball and chaining in the cart by my side. As Mom pulled up, I felt the hand grab mine. I yanked my hand free but turned back to him. "They don't kill you unless you light them," he said as Mom arrived at the curb, "and I've never lit one. It's a metaphor, see? You put the killing thing right between your teeth, but you never get the power to do its killing." "It's a metaphor," I said dubious. Mom was just idling. "It's a metaphor," I said. "You choose your behaviors based on their metaphorical resonances," I said. "Oh, yes," he smiled. This big, goofy, real smile. I'm a big believer in metaphor, Hazel Grace. I turned the car, tapped on the window, and rolled down. "I'm going to a movie with Augustus Waters," I said. "Please record the next several episodes of the AMTM Marathon for me." Okay, that was finally done. Chapter 1 of The Fault in Our Stars. I hope you liked it.